All right, let's talk about something, well, something pretty sensitive. It's a topic that a lot of us think about, but, we rarely ever say the words out loud. It's a totally natural part of life, but it can cause a lot of quiet heartache and even create distance between people who love each other. And this right here, this quote from Betty Davis, man, it just gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? This isn't really about a scent. It's about that fear, the fear of losing those precious moments, those connections with the people you love more than anything. It's this feeling of being isolated that can just creep up on you. So that's the big question, right? Why is this happening? And way more importantly, is there anything we can actually do about it? Well, that's what we're going to dig into today. We're going to look at the science, and then we're going to uncover some really simple, effective solutions. And spoiler alert, the answer is a big, resounding yes. Okay, let's just dive right in. The thing is, this specific odor that can develop as we get older, most seniors honestly don't even notice it on themselves. Our sense of smell changes, right? But younger family members often do notice, and they might feel awkward or not know how to bring it up. And that just leads to this silent, uncomfortable distance. So, a super common reaction, if someone does become aware of it, is to try and cover it up. You hear stories like Frank Wilson's. He's 88 and started dousing himself in expensive cologne, only to be heartbroken when he realized his son still didn't want to be in the same room. This whole masking strategy, it's a really common mistake. And this slide just breaks it down perfectly. When you try to layer a new, strong scent on top of the existing one, you're not getting rid of the source. The analogy is spot on. It's like spraying air freshener in a bathroom that needs cleaning. You just end up with this weird, confusing, and honestly, often worse mix of smells, because the real issue is still there. And this brings us to what might be the most important point of this whole conversation. If this is something you've ever worried about, please hear this. It is not your fault. This has nothing to do with cleanliness or personal hygiene. It's just biology. It's a natural process that happens as our bodies change, and understanding that science is the first real step to fixing it. So, what's actually going on under the hood? Well, it's basically three big things. First, we sweat less as we get older. Sounds good, right? But sweat is how our body flushes out toxins. So, less sweat means more of that stuff just hangs around on our skin. Second, the actual chemical makeup of our skin's oil, that's called sebum, it changes. And third, we produce less saliva, which leads to a drier mouth where odor-causing bacteria can have a field day. So that change in our skin oil, it leads us directly to the main culprit. It's a compound with a funny name, nonenal. You can think of it as an oxidized fatty acid that our bodies just start making a lot more of after we hit 50 or so. It has this very distinct grassy or kind of greasy smell, and here's the kicker. It's basically non-existent in younger people. This is the scientific source of that specific scent. Okay, so we've identified the cause. Now for the good stuff, the solution. And you're gonna love this because it is surprisingly simple. You don't need fancy, expensive products. In fact, you can get rid of up to 90% of the odor just by changing how you shower and focusing on three key spots. All right, so where do you need to aim that soap and water? It boils down to three key zones. First up, skin folds. Think the back of your neck, armpits, groin, even behind your knees. These spots trap sweat and are a breeding ground for bacteria. Second, hairy areas. Your scalp, your chest, anywhere hair can hold on to those oils and sweat. And third, those classic sweaty spots, especially your feet. Get between those toes. They're often overlooked but can be a huge source of odor. And listen, how you wash is just as important as where you wash. You want to use warm water, not scalding hot, because that can actually strip your skin of its protective barrier. Go for a mild, unscented soap. And right after you get out, while your skin is still damp, moisturize. Dry skin can actually make the problem worse. Oh, and that weekly soak in a warm bath? It's like a deep clean for your pores. It works wonders. Now, if you want to take it to the next level, it's not just about the shower. There are some incredibly powerful lifestyle and diet changes you can make. These are just small daily habits that work from the inside out to help your body stay fresh naturally. And you know what's awesome? None of this is complicated. Hydration is everything. Water helps flush out those toxins. A little walk in some gentle sunlight can actually help kill bacteria on the skin. And don't forget your space. Airing out your rooms and washing your sheets and towels often, that's where oils and skin cells build up. And for bad breath, a tongue scraper is a simple, total game changer.
You know the saying, you are what you eat? Well, it is absolutely true here. Foods loaded with antioxidants, think tomatoes, apples, they help fight that oxidation process that creates nonanol in the first place. And here's a surprising one, garlic. Yeah, it has its own smell, but it's a fantastic antibacterial. On the other side, things like coffee and alcohol can dehydrate you, which concentrates odors. So cutting back a bit can really help.
So after all the science, all the tips and tricks, what are we really talking about here? We're talking about getting back to what really matters. It's about closing that gap, that little bit of distance, and turning that social worry back into the simple, wonderful joy of a hug. And this is the payoff. Remember Betty's worry from the very beginning? Well, here's Margaret. She followed this advice, and the result wasn't just about smelling different. It was about getting those priceless moments back. It's about feeling confident and close with your family again. That's everything. So you see, in the end, all these little things, drinking an extra glass of water, washing behind your knees, eating an apple, they're not just a checklist for odor control. They are acts of self-care. They boost your health, they restore your confidence, and they strengthen those bonds with the people you love. And it doesn't take some massive life overhaul to get started. It just takes one decision, one choice to try one new thing today. Maybe it's that extra glass of water, or maybe it's just remembering to scrub behind your ears in the shower. That single, small step, that's all it takes to start. So, I'm going to leave you with this question, and it's a powerful one, because the answer is completely up to you. What's the one simple, positive step you're going to take starting right now to feel healthier, more confident, and ready to reconnect? The power to make this change is right there in your hands.